Hello viewers, and welcome to a brand new episode of Trashtalk on Fabula Ultima, a series where I talk about the various classes you can mix together to create your desired heroic characters in your Fabula Ultima campaign. In today's episode, Tinkerer, Alchemist, Magi Tech Engineer, Mechanic, the one that cobbles things together and throws it at the wall to see if it works, usually looking completely psychotic. In terms of mechanic, Tinkerer is by far the most complicated class in Fabula Ultima because the things you can get away with is probably yes, if the GM doesn't immediately slap you down like an insect. This is primarily because of the Tinkerer's free benefits. Permanent inventory points increase by 2, which is really good and you will need it, but that's not what I'm talking about. The ability to initiate projects is what I'm talking about. You can basically create just about anything, an airship, rocket shoes, custom weapon, robot with guns, as long as you can justify it to the GM, and also if you have enough money to make it happens. So, better start that VTuber career running. Now, let's take a look at the Tinkerer's skill, starting with emergency item. Once per conflict when you are in crisis, or half health, you may perform an additional action on your turn which must be inventory action. In essence, when you are about to die, you can panic pull things out of your deep pocket to try to save you and then actually use it to a good effect immediately, which will be very useful as Tinkerer will really put that inventory action to work. Second, gadgets. This is the core skill of Tinkerer. For every skill point you put in the skill, you can gain one tier of one of the 3 gadget types: alchemy, infusions, or magi tech. From basic, to advanced, to superior. To use any of these gadgets for the most part, you will need to use the inventory action while expending some inventory points, and some of these can cost quite a bit. To summarize what these gadget types really do, this should do. Alchemy is for people who want to cook. No matter what tier you have unlocked, you will roll a number of d20 and then pick them for effect. The more IP you have spent, the more d20 you get. The number you get can then be put into either the target or effect, meaning even for basic tier, you can have a bit of options, and the thing you potion can do is quite crazy but also random. That's why you get more d20 the more IP you spent, to try to get that effect you want. But if none of your dice work, you can still go for 2 of the any result as a saving grace. Infusion can be used to enhance the effects of your attack on hit, like switching up the elemental type to increase the damage, but only for that one attack, and you can only pick a single infusion for it. Unlike alchemy however, infusions of all tiers cost the same IP, so you can have quite a lot of options without driving up the cost. And lastly, Magi Tech is gonna be the confusing one, because every tier does something differently. For basic, you have Magi Tech Override, which lets you spend an action and 10 MP to control a soldier level construct with opposed double insight roll, turning it to your side for as long as you don't piss it off. Or advanced, you have Magi Cannon. I wonder what this does. You have to use inventory action and 3 IP to create a 2-handed magic gun. This lasts until you create another gun, and it can have 5 different elemental damage type. Needless to say, this is an extremely good weapon. And lastly, for superior, there's Magi Spheres, which can be used to replicate a magic spell from Elementalist, Entropist, and Spiritist, and I do mean any spells. However, you only have 3 prototype Magi Sphere at the start, more as you level up, so you can't exactly pull the entire Uno Dex onto the table. Also, you have to use the inventory action and 2 IP to create a Magi Sphere, and you will need the MP to cast it, which you can do immediately afterward for free. In essence, the Magi Sphere is for obtaining spells you don't really need all the time but it's just nice to have, and also if you aren't playing a magic class too, because then casting spells with MP only is probably far less painstaking. And that is the most unique mechanic of Tinkerer, aside from the other unique part of it being the only class with access to initiate projects. Tinkerer sure is a class that's hard to grasp at first because there's just so much you can do, but once you figure it out, it's gonna be crazy. Third, Potion Rain. When you create a potion, via inventory or alchemy, that restores a creature's HP and or MP, you can have it affect up to 2 more additional creatures. If you do, the amount restored is cut by half. Honestly, the use case of this skill is very limited, as it only works for potion that can restore HP or MP, which is very useful when you roll that 100 HP or MP because that's just too much, but you definitely won't get that all the time either, and if you use it for more common potion that restores low amount of HP or MP, it's also not quite a lot of restorations, so really, it's up to you. Fourth, Secret Formula. When you create potion or Magi Sphere that restore HP and or MP, the amount restored is increased by up to 25. When you create an elemental shard, potion, or Magi Sphere that deals damage, the damage is increased by only 5. I know what's your first question. The heck is an elemental shard? Page 104, this is an elemental shard, it deals 10 damage, who the heck would use this? Well, now it does 15, that sounds higher at least. More importantly, it always hits, so you can use it for a sure kill. But yes, in general, this skill makes potions or spells from magi spheres or elemental shards that you have created to do more, and might also make it worth it to get potion rain skill now. And lastly, there's visionary. When you work on a project, up to 500 zenith worth of material costs have been paid for, somehow, and also you generate an additional 5 progress every day, allowing you to create complicated project fast. If multiple characters have the skill work on the same project, the GM is gonna need to start figuring things out fast. What else to say, you have a 500 zenith head start on every project, that will go a long way, especially if you frequently work on smaller projects instead of only the big one. Heck, if I'm reading the mechanic correctly, you can pump out a single-use rocket pack in a cave with a box of scraps in a matter of hours. Ironically, making your player feeling more ambitious with their projects will probably save you more headache. After putting in 10 points into Tinkerer, it is now considered as mastered and you have unlocked a heroic skill for it. For Tinkerer specific heroic skill, there's 7 of them, 2 in core rulebook, 2 in techno fantasy, 1 in natural fantasy, and 2 in the 6th Fabula Ultima bonus supplement. I also recommend getting the extra IP heroic skill for, well, very obvious reason, it will be very helpful. First, in the Fabula Ultima core rulebook, there's Deep Pocket. When you spend inventory point, you can spend 1 less to a minimum of 1. Yeah, this is a no-brainer, this just stretches your inventory point supply even further, extremely good for Tinkerer. Next there's Upgrade. Once per rest, you may choose one option, add a quality to a single weapon, armor, or shield without one, or replace an existing one with another. The next block of words look a bit complicated, but basically you can pick any quality as long as it works for said equipment and also has to cost 1000 zenith or less, and then you have to pay twice the cost modifier to slap the quality on the equipment. It's quite costly, but if you and your teammate can't seem to get the right equipment and have some money to burn, make it yourself. Next, in techno fantasy, there's nebulization, which requires advanced alchemy. When you create a potion, you gain 1 nebulization point. 2 if you create it via alchemy, potion, and elemental shard you have created deal extra damage equal to twice your current nebulization points. Potion you created that restores HP and or MP can restore an addition of your current nebulization points times 5. You can only have 5 points max, which reset at the end of the scene. Yes, I'm sure spreading toxic chemical fume make the modern fantasy battlefield a safe place to fight in, and it won't increase the chance of you ending up in a US Chemical Safety and Hazard Investigation Board video. But yes, if you like throwing potions around, you can do even more now. Stacking this with secret formula is gonna be crazy. And then there's Quantum Magi Cannon, which requires advanced Magi tech for obvious reason. Your attack with Magi Cannon deal 5 extra damage, and upon firing, you can either destroy the cannon immediately to create a new one at no cost and then fire that one for correct elemental damage, or the attack gain multi-3 tag, letting you target 3 creatures at once, or you can perform 2 separated attack as if following 2 weapons fighting rule to potentially shoot the same target twice but for less damage each hit. If you like to have a bigger magic cannon, it's gonna get even better now. Meanwhile, Infusion still gets nothing to really show off with, and, well, spoiler alert, it won't. Next, in natural fantasy, there's Skillful Dosage, which can also be unlocked by Gourmet, Loremaster, and Merchant. As I have explained through the Loremaster video, what this heroic skill does is that it makes your potions or spell to be able to restore HP and or MP beyond the max, up to 150%, but it will go back down at the end of a scene, so better use them. Remember those powerful 100 HP and MP restore effect? Well, they aren't so overkill now. And finally, in the 6th Fabula Ultima bonus supplement, there's Great Cauldron Secret, which requires superior alchemy. When you create potion via alchemy, you can turn any dice assigned to target to be turned into a 13 or 17. Essentially, your potion can now target either every ally, or every enemy, consistently. Needless to say, this is insanely powerful, especially with the right effect. And lastly, there's It Lives, that can also be acquired by Wayfarer, but requires both Wayfarer's Faithful Companion skill and Visionary skill. But to summarize, since we talked about it in Wayfarer episode before, you can have a robot buddy that do better the more of a visionary you are. That's about it. And that's basically it on Tinkerer, the mad scientist that can invent anything except normal relationship with other people, and that's fine. That's all for now, and I will see you all next time. Hello there, if you like this video, please subscribe and click that notification bell button. If you want to see the videos early as well as further support my channel, you can join in my Patreon page, or buy me some coffee, links in the description. Anyway, have a nice day.